don't know what it is today, but for some reason it just wants me to say everything. And I don't want to. I've been holding back a lot. Trying to work out what humility is, what ego is, what desire is, what pride is, what righteousness is, to what's truly right. If there's an opposite to right, then it can't be truly right. So I'm working out neutrality, stepping out of other people's thoughts, other people's conversations, other people's spiritual realms, or what would you call them? Their kingdom. That's a good one. Let me recall that one. So the kingdom, so everybody's got their own kingdom happening. And I'm allowed to have mine. I'm allowed to be where I am at the time I am at it. What time is that? I have no idea what date, time, or anything is. Because one thing that I've been told loudly and clearly by the Father, by His love, by His mercy, by His counsel, by His Spirit, by His body, by His mentors, His masters, His chosen, His messages, whatever you want to call them, they all originate and come from the Father. And they go behind the scenes and they understand before they say something, because they don't want to force, manipulate, or control. They want you to move the rock if you can. But if they do need to lift that rock, they will lift that rock for you and point under there. Just that little bit of guidance, because it's not manipulation or force until something can react to the guidance. So you've got the guidance, someone pointing underneath, guiding you a certain direction. Is that manipulative? No, you make the choice. You make the choice. If you want to look under there, or you want to head that direction, then that's the direction you head. That's your choice. You head that way or you head that way. You can head into the pendulum, you can head into the neutral zone, you can head under the God of Yahweh or under the God of the other one. It's going to destroy everything anyway. But the realms coming together now in ascension, and life. What does it matter? What matters? What matters? And people might think, this is what happens when you go crazy. Well then, sitting here right now, being fully aware that of everything that's happened, more aware than how I could express or explain it to any doctor, psychiatrist, person, counsellor, anyone, everyone. The only person that understands is the Father. He's in us. So He understands me. He understands what I need. He understands how to protect me. And He understands you. He understands how to comfort you and how to protect you. Only in the place of emptiness, only in the place of emptiness can He truly take over and help you to purge and rid of all things that aren't of Him, out of this so-called vessel. But the truth is in us, it's in our heart. So that's where you come to a knowing of something, where someone, I could have family, friends, everyone argue with me, and it's like, well, I'm sorry, but you can't change it. You can't change it. Oh, yeah, but that's just your perception, and rah, rah, rah. And I'm like, yes, no, let me talk about my perception. My, my perception is completely way off. But the truth, it can't be altered, changed, or moved. It is what it is. We can all point at that over there and say that's 1,000 spectrums of whatever colours, it is. We could have 1,000 different religions base every individual's perception on that colour that they chose. Now you line them up and you've got the colours of the rainbow. Well, how can that red one look like that yellow one? How did he say that was yellow, but he say that was red? Why did he say that was red and that was yellow? They're completely two different colours, but that's their perception. Now, so what was the colour on? At least they could agree that it is a colour. Could we agree with that? There is a colour there. Oh, now we get someone smart ass and they come on with a bit of a physics background and they start to, molecularly break down particles and colours and this and that and change the view of the perception of all or both. You can get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. That is the frightening part of it. Deep, 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 deep. I can't understand how to talk or how to act or how to be if I don't know what is being said. But he says it as time moves forward. So it's quite difficult to be in that and understand, and then the higher purpose, the scary part of that is like you realise that you're a star seed. You start to feel this digital breakdown of spiritual, this matrix. I don't know what it is, but you start to see it just crumble around you, and then you feel like you've gone through a digital mesh or something, like you have ascended through a digital mesh, and it makes you feel like I don't know. It's like straight to prayer. So, get back into the frequency of love, because at the end of the day, that's what's pulling me up. That's what's pulling me towards the Father's allness. That's what this digital feeling is. It's consuming everything I feel and negative. It's consuming it and trying to ascend me through my heart. And that's the digital feeling that I get. It feels like you're being broke down into pixel particles. And then it's got those sounds where Hollywood's done well, because they play these sounds, and these sounds are exactly like that, especially in Transformers. And yeah, anyway, the earthquakes that are shutting down nuclear reactors. We've been told. We have been told years and years and years ago. We have been told throughout the ages that this was going to occur. We were told. Also, we had we have an interstellar family of watchers and angels and all different spiritual forces that are helping people to come to this understanding. So these beings that are using certain frequencies that the archons or the false spirit, the counterfeit, that they can't get a hold of. They can't mimic it or manipulate it. So it's because it's more ancient than themselves. So the neutrino beams, if you go and look into, there's a whole heap of them. There's that come from the sun and rah rah rah, but there's 4 that are really different. That they say that come from the age of the start of the Big Bang. Who cares about if it's a Big Bang, if it's not, or if it's this, just know that when they do the physics and we read this and we study this and go into it and Google it, you will see that these neutrino beams are of an ancient, it doesn't matter whether it was a Big Bang or this or that, but they were one of the first that they say that travel as the universe expands, it travels to what they would, I don't know what physics or science think of the end of something when there's no end, just a serpent eating its tail. But neutrino beams is something that they can't hijack. These ancient ones, anyway. So everything can be hijacked by the enemy and imaged to us as a ploy, a tactic to feel that we have a left hand and not 2 rights. So that's quite fascinating as well. The earthquakes, back to them, and the earthquakes that are happening, and there's going to be more, and they are going to shut down, dismantle, and neutralize all weapons of mass destruction, or all nuclear weapons that have been stationed in the earth for the destruction of the earth or the dismantling of the systems of the earth. But either way, they were there, they're there, they were going to go off at some stage, and that's why they are put there. Every missile facing towards another country is put there for a reason. It's put there because it's going to go off one day. Fear. I've got this pointing at you. Well, I got this pointing at you. It's like we're just going to keep pointing at each other until something. It's not in control of love. Love and the archons and what's happening right now. It's the Father's love is just penetrating through all of these enemy's tactics. So the dismantling. So don't be surprised if we see earthquakes in places that are them neutralizing that place for that time, and maybe something big is going to occur if more happen like this. If there are places where these weapons exist and they are being neutralized, the enemy's not going to be happy, the government's not going to be happy. These crafts have been coming in and neutralizing weapons for a long time and flying behind crafts in wars, neutralizing what they could then, just appearing to show themselves, to show the person, the human, that, oh my God, we so full of ourselves. If there are other creatures and other things and they aren't attacking me right now, but they're flying behind my plane, wow, what they can do with their crafts, disappear. They're powerful. They have technology that could destroy, incinerate, that could manipulate, that could force events to happen. But they just sat. These things don't want to harm us, most of them. The ones that are harming us are in the earth, are the gods that created our flesh. They're the ones that want to take us away from source in order to keep accumulating and feeding off our energy. This stuff is heavy. This stuff is heavy. What will happen? I don't know. Am I ready? Am I laughing because it's funny? No, I'm laughing because I am in this place where I am forced to say, suck it up. This was your job. You don't know it yet, but you know that this was your job. You've been here before. You've done this before. You were planted here for this. This is where you awaken. This is where it happens. And now this is where the targeted individual gets targeted by the enemy as well. And now it's full-blown assault. There have been people that I know personally are going through it and happening right now. And I just hope that my mumbling on with truths, whether my perception of them's that or however million different perceptions we've got, the truth still exists over there. We're all looking at the same pole. Anyway, big celestial events occurring as well. Okay, let's go into that. Naughty Beaver. Naughty Beaver did something last night that made an overwhelming data download occur. And it just went explode, and I wanted to tuck up and cry. I actually turned him off. Oh. So, there are going to be all levels of truth striking hearts. All levels. Some will understand. Some down here will understand on their journey. But there is going to be a mass understanding, and it's happening. So we need to know who we are. We need the Father's love. We need His mercy through this, and we need to understand and follow Yeshua in showing what He showed. But He did just keep walking. He just kept walking. The ones that would follow, they chose. He said, you make the choice. I can't make that for you. The importance of this message that I'm giving is maybe watered down, and maybe, I may be watering it down a little bit, but I'm not watering it down to lie or manipulate or cause havoc or harm. I'm watering it down in order to allow the Spirit to do what it will do, the Father's will. So, watering it down to grow and bear good fruits is a beautiful thing when there's no motive. So, overload of information, I know what that feels like. Do I want that for people? No, the Father will give that to them. He'll deal with that when it happens. When you wake, you wake. You can't run from the wake. There's no back to sleep. You wake. So, wake up.